What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Today's episode, we have our Week 15 fantasy matchups. We got start, sits, sleepers. We got some underdog plays, all that good stuff, guys. It is officially fantasy playoffs time. I am joined by Jordan and Seth. Phil has a buddy in from town from high school, so we got to excuse him. His buddy Case is in town, and they went to go watch Wicked tonight. So that is where Phil is. He is not here tonight, so hopefully him and his old long-lost pal Case are having a good time. Jordan, how are you doing, my guy? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Doing good.
Good.
A little cold. Weather's cold. I don't like it. But yeah, everything's good.
Good. And Seth, you're hanging in there, man? You doing okay?
Honestly, I'm kind of a fan of this cold weather. You know, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's gonna be nice. I like it.
I'm a fan of the cold too. I like the cold. Jordan, are you like, you got space heaters? Like, I know you basically rough it during, the summer. Are you similar with the winter? Like, are you a heated blanket guy? Sleeping bag guy? You got the heated blanket? Like, how are you doing that?
Just gotta put lots of blankets on, multiple layers.
Okay.
So it feels noticeably colder right now than it did as before. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a lot
tonight.
Haven't had a lot of cold here anyways, but I think we can kind of jump. Well, actually, let's not jump right into it yet. I just want to talk about like just playoff schedules, how we're kind of doing in our leagues, So Jordan, I know you squeaked by the hair on your chinny chin into one league. You won by what, a half a point because of the Jamar Chase, 40-yard TD at the end of the game?
I think it was 0.9, and you get the 2 points for the 40-plus touchdown bonus. So, yeah. Basically, if that plays 1 yard, like 39 yard, I don't get in the playoffs. So the 2 point bonus for 40 plus helped a lot.
So you basically were watching that whole entire drive kind of thinking like, man, I need to score like now on this play, or were you kind of like, it's over?
I kind of wanted overtime, to be honest, because I was like, unless he scores, and originally I thought the touchdown bonus was 50 plus. So I realized it was 40 plus. But I kind of wanted overtime more than anything else, just so I could get like more yards and more catches in a touchdown, because I knew that I kind of needed like 10 points. So, but it ended up getting there on that exact play. And I also knew if we got over 200, it also would have been a huge bonus too. So like, I was just trying to overtime was probably the best, but the other guy also had Rico Dowdle. So like, I kind of needed like overtime, the Bengals to get the ball, go 80 yards, Jamar Chase to just feast, and then kind of win. But then it just kind of worked out where, yeah, I snuck into playoffs. I debated that Shakir and Jameson Williams move that I talked about last week all the way up until like Thursday, right before kickoff. I had Shakir in, switched to Jameson at 5:10 our local time. So 5 minutes before the game kicked off. And I was going to be if I would have lost by like honestly less than 13, I was going to be very upset if I had lost that, because if I just kept Shakir in, I would have won. It wouldn't even been close. I would have won by 13, 15.
Yeah, rightfully so. You would have been upset. Yeah. Seth, how are you doing? You're in playoffs in majority of your leagues. I'm in a league with you. I think, what are you, 3 seed? But what do you get in there?
I'm in the 6 seed out of 12 in that one. So, I mean, I started off that league 5-0, and then my team fell off. And in the last 3 weeks, I've won. So that kind of brought me back to snake in at the 6th spot. My team looks okay there. I know you're in first in that one, Trent, so that'll be fun. And then my other league, I'm the 1 seed, and that is only a 6-man playoff, so I get a first round bye. And then in my 2 dynasty leagues, I believe I snaked in at the very bottom, and then one maybe a little bit higher. So I made it in all 4. But I mean, my redraft, the 1 seed, I'm feeling pretty good about that one. So,
yeah. So this has been
Trent,
like,
did we all make playoffs? And we're all in one dynasty league together. Did we all make playoffs in that league?
I did not. I have a rough team in that league. I have Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers. It's rough. But I'm going to be getting Ginchy in that league. This has been one of the weirdest fantasy leagues of my entire life. So basically how it's been going is I'm in 3 leagues, and I'm the number 1 seed in 3 leagues. I have 2 first-round buys. And then the third one, that I'm in playoffs in, I am the number 1 seed, but I don't have any buys. So it's been like real like the top or the bottom for me this year. It's been no in between. So it's kind of a weird week. Like I'm trying to like kind of take it easy, but it's also like I do actually have to play the bottom seed that, you could get upset. But the 2 bye weeks out of 3 it's a big deal.
Trent, like I'm curious, like how many leagues are you in?
I'm in 7. Sorry. I am the number 2 seed in 1 league, and I'm the number 1 seed in 3 leagues.
Of the 4, like what, you don't have to go into how much the money league is, but like the 4 that you made it and the 3 that you didn't, what do those look like as far as like priority for you money-wise?
Money-wise, it's not as good. It's like $20 entries on all of them. Like they're competitive, but they're not like the $200 ones.
So the more expensive ones, you didn't make playoffs in. That's a bummer.
I'm really only in 1 like big-time money league, and that's the one with you, and that's why I didn't. Like most of my leagues are
but
like
even our other
50
dynasty
and
league,
below.
Other dynasty league, outside of Phil, who maybe he's working for extra money right now. I don't know. Maybe him and Case went to go work to extra money to pay their league fees. We raised the one in that league to the $50. Like, that's a decent amount of money. I mean, $50 times 10, that's a $500 pot, right? So, I mean, that's not nothing. So,
and then I'm in a work one. I'm at the one at work, and I really hate that league. But being on the podcast, you pretty much get ridiculed every single day if you don't make playoffs in there, or if you just lose. It's continually like just you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing. So to get the 2 seed in that league was really nice. So I have the bye in there. Looks like it should be, good sailing in there. And then the league I'm in with Seth, family league I have, which is competitive. There's a lot of trash talk. It's kind of weird because I have David Montgomery in that league, but the guy I'm playing against has Jahmyr Gibbs. So it could be one of those things where like playing the Buffalo Bills, they're really weak against the run. It could either be a Gibbs game or a Montgomery game. So it's kind of weird splitting it like that. And but yeah, so it's kind of been a feast or famine season for me. So it's been very strange. So I think we can kind of, with all that, we can kind of jump in and do the Thursday night preview if you guys want. Jordan, you can give the tallies and then we'll do our picks. You can just tell us, what everybody had and all that good stuff. So you want to give us the what we had?
Yeah, real quick. Trent went 6-6. Not a good week for Trent. Phil and I went 9-3. Seth won again, 10-2. Seth's, I think, gonna close this thing out pretty strong here. 6 wins. Trent 4.5. Phil 2. I'm at 1.5. At this point, I have like 4 weeks to beat Phil. That's kind of my main goal right now.
You're taking too many dogs,
I gotta
Jordan.
beat Phil. Huh?
You're taking too many dogs.
I didn't take any dogs last week.
So this is what I will say. This is what I'll say though. The weird thing about our whole picks this year is like Jordan is the only guy that's picked the Chiefs like every single week. Like everyone else has kind of gone upset mode on the Chiefs. Jordan has picked the Chiefs every single week. So he has one team that he's gotten, 13 wins out of, right? Like, so he's nailed it on that one. I don't know where he's going wrong on the other ones, but the Chiefs wise, he's been doing really good.
Seth, the only pick that you and I differed on last week was the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah. So obviously Phil's not copying Seth anymore. How many picks, how many games am I behind Seth on, Jordan?
1.5.
1.5. Okay.
1.5.
All right. Well, remember, guys, don't be rude. Share the dudes. It really helps us out. Guys, if you like this episode, share it with a friend and tell them it made you laugh, tell them it made you cry. Maybe you got some good tips on, gardening from Seth or whatever. But I don't even know where I'm going with that. Give us a like, give us a sub. Really helps us out, though. So let's dive right in here into our Underdog Fantasy, our Thursday night preview. We have 2 Monday Night Football games this week, but let's jump into Thursday night first. And here is a nice little play I got here. So head over to Underdog, enter promo code DUDES. I'll match you up to $1,000, guys. I have, and I flex played this, just to be honest. I didn't go all in. I've been missing a lot by just one. I've had some nice plays. Jordan's nodding his head no. I got George Kittle higher on 57.5 receiving yards. I have Juwan Jennings higher on 68.5 receiving yards. Cooper Kupp higher on 64.5 receiving yards. and Puka Nakua higher on 87.5 receiving yards. All hires there. Jordan's nodding his head. Maybe he doesn't like that. But we have the Rams 49ers game. Seth, can you read the lines for us? Can you fill in for Phil? Can you be a little substitute teacher here?
Of course. Yes. No problem. I will do his job better. So,
Okay, perfect.
Thursday Night Football, the day you are listening to this tonight, it is the Los Angeles Rams traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. 49ers are favored by 2.5, and the game total is at 48.5.
Perfect. It was actually a pretty good Thursday night game, Jordan. You know,
This
we
would be a
got
great
some
game.
NFC. You know, Rams could claim the number 3 seed if they beat the 49ers, and the Seahawks lose and the Buccaneers lose. So it's kind of possible for this to happen. So they can get that number 3 seed, which would be good. I don't hate playing Matt Stafford in this game at the quarterback position over some other guys, just to, you know, elephant in the room, like CJ Stroud. Is anyone excited about playing CJ Stroud this week? Would you rather play Matt Stafford, Jordan, or CJ Stroud? And I actually did a similar poll to this, but Matt Stafford's on it. But just shooting through from the hip, Jordan, what would you say there, Stafford or Stroud?
Stafford.
Okay. And I did a little poll here on X Day. It's still got 9 hours, and it's juiced up. Got 232 votes. Give me a follow at tffdudes. You know, and Week 15 fantasy football playoff poll. Who would you rather start in fantasy football? CJ Stroud versus Miami, Geno Smith versus Green Bay, or Bryce Young versus Dallas? Would you take Geno Smith or Bryce Young over CJ, Jordan?
No.
Okay, you'd still go CJ. Seth, what about you?
I think Geno's going to have to throw a lot this game. But I think I lean no. Just, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I would lean no right now. I don't think he's going to have to throw a lot, but I don't think he's going to put up anything crazy.
All right. 38% went with CJ Stroud, 34% went with Bryce Young, and 28% went with Geno Smith. So decently close. There is definitely a bad taste in people's mouths for CJ Stroud. But let's hop into Thursday Night Football. Let's bounce back over there on Prime here. What do we got here on this game, guys? You know, Jordan, you know, in that one league, you put all your fab in, you put all your eggs in one basket. Guerendo, a lot of people are struggling with this. Guerendo maybe got you into playoffs. If he doesn't get hurt, maybe you don't need that 40-yard TD from Jamar Chase, but you're not feeling super great here. And, you know, a Sincere McCormick maybe was a guy, but he got picked up last week as well. So you're like, what are you leaning on, Jordan, on like a running back fill-in this week?
I'm just praying Guerendo plays.
Okay.
I don't like.
Short
I don't.
week, it's
I
gonna be
play.
tough, right?
I'm gonna go
Didn't
from
practice
there. Like
today.
I'm just gonna hope he didn't practice.
You know, he didn't practice. He's not.
I mean, I wouldn't say that he's not playing. I don't know how much I'd read into him. Like, not, I don't know. It's a short week. So I'm just hoping he plays. And if he doesn't play, I will figure it out. Go from there.
You got to expect whoever the 49ers have at running back, they're going to do good. They're going to do well. Deebo Samuel, are we just done? Are we over him, Seth? Everybody all done? Jordan, you want to, like, can we actually finally play him now? You know, he got some carries last
Hold
week.
on. Just for what it's worth, he was limited today. That is an upgrade.
Yeah, that's true. I just read that.
That makes me think that he is going to play because I think the short week, they rested him. It says good chance Niners get Bosa and Guerendo.
Okay.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, so a little
That actually
fantasy
helps me
miracle.
out a ton.
Yeah. Fantasy miracle maybe for early on in your weeks, guys. The worst thing that could happen, though, Jordan, like I don't want to jinx you or anything, is we get the Geno Smith or not the Keenan Allen treatment. You know, we think we start this guy and he goes out there and just does a little bit, like doesn't even go on the field, you know, like does a little cardio pregame and then you're stuck there with whatever. You might be, honestly, Jordan, super long shot. You aren't going to like this and you probably won't do it. But if he doesn't dress out like Juszczyk, you'd have to add him right now and just pray he gets a 1-yard TD.
No, I think that's better. I think there's better options than that.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's just a guy that maybe he gets a couple more carries because they need somebody there. For Rams side, you're firing up Cooper Kupp. You're firing up Puka. We talked about Stafford, Kyron Williams. You got to play. Maybe if you're doing it, this was about a year ago, Jordan. I played DeMarcus Robinson for you against you, and he kind of went off on Thursday Night Football, so that was kind of cool. So maybe we get another DeMarcus Robinson game here, come back. 49ers side out of Juwan Jennings, Kittle, and whoever the running back is, I don't know, and Purdy. I don't know if you really want to play anyone else, right? No sleepers here. Like
you're not playing Debo, that's for sure.
Yeah, he has not I don't think he's had like a finish as a top 10 wide receiver since like week 5 or something. It's been a long time for Debo Samuel. He's been a guy that has really hurt your fantasy season this year.
And the other wide receiver's been out the whole year.
Ayuk, Ricky Parcells, I don't think you're ready to play him either. Probably next year. I'm going to say, I don't know if there's anything else we really want to dive in on this game. You got the two coaches are good friends playing each other. I don't think there's anything else we need to dive in on this one, though. I'm going to go with, home team. I'm going to say 49ers find a way to squeak this one out. But, the Rams just beat the Bills. Rams look really good. I think I'm going to go Stafford.
I'm going Rams.
I'm going Stafford.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm going Rams here. Niners suck.
I'm going to go Niners.
Could be a coin flip there. All right, Seth, what do we got next here?
Yeah, so the next game we have the Bills traveling to Detroit in the Dome, playing against the Lions. It's going to be a great game. Looking forward to this one. Detroit is favored by 1.5, and the game total, I believe, is the highest this week at 54.5. Jordan has a sit, and Trent has a sleeper. Let's go with Jordan's sit first.
Yeah, I got James Cook as my sit this week. The Lions give up the second least fantasy points to running backs, third least rushing yards to running backs. Outside of the Josh Jacobs 3-touchdown game last week, they've been really, really good against the run. Honestly, Josh Jacobs has been one of the few running backs that have kind of killed them this year in both matchups. On top of that, Cook's only playing 45% snaps. He's super touchdown dependent. And the problem with that is the Bills use Josh Allen at the goal line like almost automatically, like the Eagles use Jalen Hurts, and so he's not getting those goal line. If it goes down at the 1, it's Josh Allen getting those touchdowns. So, for example, last week in that game Trent just talked about where the Rams beat the Bills 44-42, the starting running back for the Bills had 6 carries, 0 touchdowns. Like, if the Bills can put up 42 points and James Cook doesn't score any of those and only has 6 carries, like, they don't need James Cook to be involved. So, don't like James Cook. It's a horrible matchup. He already has questionable usage. Don't like James Cook this week.
All right. And Jordan, just going to you there. Another guy. I'm just honestly, Jordan, I'm dedicating the rest of this pod to finding you another running back that can play. Just a warm body. Like Ray Davis is available. I know you don't like James Cook. I'm just looking for guys that might fall into the end zone somehow. Trying to get you. Yeah. I'm just trying to get you 6 points at this point because I'm sure someone else is it. I'm not sure. There are a ton of guys in the same situation as you. We had the highest, fab bid, the most coveted waiver wire ad of the season, and this is what happened. He got hurt, 3/4 of the game in. I'm going to go over to my sleeper here. My sleeper, I have Amari Cooper. Lions are tough against fantasy quarterbacks. We all know that. But Josh Allen's different. You can't worry about that. This Lions secondary is battered, though. They are not good against wide receivers. You got Jamal Adams back there. I think he's still starting for them unless a guy came back. Lions secondary is battered like a county fried corn dog, guys. Crispy, fried, and full of holes, guys. So last week, Amari Cooper had 14 targets, and he caught 6 of them. I think his blow-up games this week. He had 12 half-point PPR fantasy points last week. I think he blows up this week. I saw him rated 44 on the week, and I just think that's too low. I think Josh Allen's going to keep airing it out, and I think Amari Cooper is going to start being the guy that takes over. Josh Allen got his toy, he thought a couple weeks ago, it's going to arrive just in time for Christmas. So I got Amari Cooper as a good play here, and I don't even hate, with Josh Allen in a game like this where the Lions can score points and the Bills can score points, I'm not even like against like maybe a Mac Hollins flyer or Keon Coleman, because I don't know if Keon Coleman's going to play though. If Keon Coleman plays, maybe we, halt the Mac Hollins talk. But, with how bad like Kincaid's been out, Dawson Knox might be available in your league. Like I don't mind any Josh Allen pass catchers I can get in this game. Bills, though, absolutely terrible against running backs. You can run the ball on them. So we got the Gibbs, we have the Montgomery. They're a lot tougher against the pass. Do we think you're firing up Amon-Ra and maybe we finally get a Laporta game that's decent here? The one that's going to...
You have to start every Lions player.
What about anybody have the cans to, fire up Tim Patrick? I'm doubting anyone really wants to do that, but...
He's a legitimate red zone threat. I mean...
Yeah, it's just kind
guy's
of
got touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's got more touchdowns than Tyreek Hill, I think.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Jordan?
I don't know about Tim Patrick, but do I go Jameson or Shakir? Can we run the question back? What do you guys think in this game?
Wait, who are Shakir?
Jameson.
Jameson or Shakir?
I had the same problem I had last week.
Man, I
lean Shakir again, but I don't know what
safer.
I'm doing.
He's safer, but you just don't know if Jameson's going to get like a 50-yard end around. Like Jameson is just lightning in a bottle. That's why I always go Jameson. But if you just need some safe point, honestly, with you not having a running back, Jordan, I feel like Jameson, you have to go for upside.
Well, what I was thinking is this game is at 125, so I can kind of make that decision all the way up until kickoff, right?
You can pray about it all during the whole church service,
I can pray about it all day. No, in all seriousness, I wouldn't do that. But I can kind of see how the morning goes, and then kind of go from there. So I think Guerendo, if Guerendo playing or not, is a big deal, and how he does, So the good thing is I can kind of wait and see and kind of decide what I need. So
who is your other wide receiver though, Jordan? Because we know you got Jameson and Shakir. Who's the other one? Chase.
It's Neighbors and Chase.
Okay, and Neighbors isn't a good. He hasn't caught a TD in a long time, but he's in a good spot. The problem with the Giants
his floor is pretty high.
The problem is with the Giants is they haven't thrown a TD pass in 30 days. And which quarterback do you think threw it?
Man,
probably not a quarterback, probably a receiver.
No, it's Daniel Jones. He's not even on the team anymore. Yeah. So since they've made the change, like he didn't throw any TD passes, they've like not thrown anyways. But other guys in this game, fire up your guys in here.
Play all your studs.
Yeah, this is the highest spread of the week.
Here, Trent.
I believe it's the high, 54.5. Yeah, highest total. Yeah. Sorry. So, and then on this one, Lions will hold the number 1 seed, even if they lose the Bills, who are 10-3, and the Eagles are 11-2. If the Eagles beat the Steelers, who are 10-3, since the Lions hold the tiebreaker for home field advantage, they remain 8-1 in conference, while Philly will be 7-2. So, number 1 seed's looking very probable here. Okay. Let's go to the. I'm going to go Bills.
I'm going Lions.
I got Detroit.
Did anybody pick Rams last week, or did everybody go?
I picked the Rams.
You picked the Rams. You dirty dog.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
No, everyone picked the Bills.
Okay. All right.
I did not.
Next one. What do we got, Seth?
Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins traveling to Houston, Texas, to play the Texans. This game lines at 47.5, and Houston is favored by 2.5. Trent, you have a sit.
I have a sit in this one. Who do I got? Yeah,
I hate it. Talked about earlier.
Yeah, it's the guy that like I've been so gung ho on. I have him in a dynasty league with Joe Burrow super flex. That like when you think of that, like going into the season, I thought I would like probably like have a good chance to win this league with Puka Nacua, Joe Burrow, and CJ Stroud. Not the chance at all. It's been bad. CJ Stroud in the Superflex has not been, if you told me he was your number 2 quarterback, you'd probably be super excited. But yeah, I have CJ Stroud. He's hasn't scored 20 fantasy points, guys, since I believe it is week. What was that? Did not write that down in my notes. He's QB 19 on the season. I believe he hasn't scored 20 fantasy points since week 5 is what I saw. I'll go back and double check that. Dolphins are tough against wide receivers, even tougher against QBs. They're giving up 12.5 fantasy points per game. And I know the last couple games they've, laxed on that a little bit, but last time we saw CJ Stroud before the bye, they played the Jaguars and he put up like 13 fantasy points. So it's just like, he's not getting it done. Maybe him and Nico Collins are finally in rhythm again. I would rather go to the wire and try to find somebody that can at least get me 16 to 17 fantasy points because CJ Stroud has just been so frustrating. And honestly, if you have CJ Stroud the whole season, I would like to see what the percentages of guys that made playoffs with CJ Stroud. So this could just be insult to injury here, if he goes off this week. But I am fine with not playing him. So like guys, I said I had maybe like Matt Stafford's maybe the only guy that you really feel comfortable with, but guys that are, rostered low or Matt Stafford, Geno Smith, Anthony Richardson would be real risky, and Rodgers.
What's Herbert's ownership or rostership?
I believe Herbert is in the 80s, Jordan. So he
really?
is, and I've seen him in a couple leagues where I'm like, man, can you pull that up, Seth, and see that? But I've seen a couple where he's just his rostership, because I picked him up in a league a couple weeks ago, and I was shocked to see his rostership because when I do the waiver pod every week, I was thinking, I'm going to throw Herbert in here, and he was way too rostered too high. So I don't know with that there. Let me find Stroud here. Seth, did you pull up Herbert?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
And then in this game too, it's kind of a tough matchup for Mixon too. Dolphins defenses, they're tough, but Mixon's gotten a lot of teams, to where they are at. So CJ Stroud's last good fantasy game, just looking at it here, and I got the notes, was he has not scored over 20 fantasy points since week 4, and that was against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He did score 17 versus the Titans in week 12. Before that, he hadn't scored, he scored 19 in week 6 against the Patriots. So it's been really rough. What did you get on Herbert, Seth?
I don't know why I'm signed out of Sleeper,
Okay.
but
I got it right here. So the Bucs are a really good matchup. Herbert is only 81% rostered, so there might be a chance that you can find Herbert.
That's crazy.
And play him. That's very low for Justin Herbert, especially with...
it seemed high to me, Trent. I'm
it?
surprised he's that high, yeah.
Really? I kept thinking it was be lower. He is QB 17. So...
Yeah, but no one... unless you're in a 16 team... I mean, if you're in a single Q quarterback league, you really shouldn't be having 2 quarterbacks on your roster, but okay. Mm-hmm. I digress.
Okay. Other guys here we like in this match. Jalen Waddle, he's kind of playing pretty good. You can play Waddle, I think.
I think it's just 5 guys, Trent. There's only 5 guys you can really play, but
Achane
in this game. Achane, Tyreek, Waddle's borderline to me, and then it's Nico Collins, Joe Mixon. You can't play Tank Dell. You can't I don't think you can play those guys.
No, you can't.
Johnny, you could, I guess.
Johnny,
yes.
And if that's your tight end,
Yeah,
so.
Jonnu had 0 fantasy points last week, and then what? He had 12 in overtime. He went off.
That's when So that was I was playing against Jonnu in that same league. That I had Jamar Chase's miracle, and I'm like, I sent the congrats text to the guy when Jonnu had 0 points and then proceeded to score 10 points in the overtime drive. So I was like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely done. This is just how it's gonna end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Waddle has had over 15 fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games. Maybe we're getting to the point where we can play Waddle again. He is Waddle's only 90% rostered, so that's low for a guy like Waddle. He is limited with a little hamstring issue, though, a little pulled hammy. Man, Tyreek Hill has been frustrating. There's a lot of Tyreek Hill hate on X about guys just because a lot of guys took him number 2. He was a top 3 draft pick, I think you would safely say, across the board.
People picked him over Jamar Chase and Jefferson.
Yeah. So this one here, Texans, Dolphins. Where's this one at? Texans kind of just squeak them through. You know what I'm saying?
It's in
Texas. In Houston. Dolphins really need to win this one, though. Texans clinch their division if they beat the Dolphins, and the Colts lose the Broncos. So Vegas.
I'm going Miami.
Vegas has it happening. I'm going to go Miami in a must-win game. Kind of scares me when I'm following
here.
Kind of scares me when I'm following your lead, though, Jordan. Like, I need to beat Seth. And it just, nothing against you. It's just been a, rough last couple weeks. Seth, what do we got next?
Next game, we have the Buccaneers traveling to LA to play the Chargers. This game totals 46.5, and the Chargers are favored by 2.5. Jordan, you have a start.
Yes, I got Ladd McConkey as a start this week. One of the better matchups here for wide receivers. Ladd's been really good. So he missed last week, but the 3 weeks before, he was just awesome. He's pretty much plays the whole entire game. He had combined 27 targets in those 3 weeks, all in kind of similar good plus matchups for wide receivers like he's in this week. Even coming off the injury, McConkey's been a guy who has pretty much played through injury his whole career. In college, he was kind of always hurt. Usually proves to be pretty effective playing through pain. Sounds like he was pretty close to going last week, so I'd assume he's pretty much full go this week. So really like Ladd McConkey in this spot against the Buccaneers pass defense. Like Herbert quite a bit too.
Ladd has that's been one of my bright spots just in dynasty leagues. I actually traded back in the league from like the 6th pick to like the 12th, and I got Ladd, and it's paid off really nicely here at the end of the season. But yeah, he looks really good. The other guy, if he doesn't play, I do think he's going to play, Jordan. If you're in an absolute pinch, though, like Quentin Johnson looked pretty good against the Chiefs. I know it's hard to like stomach that and like go into it. Like I honestly, I would say if you play Quentin Johnson, don't even watch the game. Like just close one or watch it, close one eye. It's only half as bad. Can we agree with that? Like we watched.
No,
him
you put him on the 4 box. You only got to watch it every once in a while.
Yeah,
you don't
we
gotta,
watched him live. We watched a dumpster fire running across the field, and we saw it live.
Yeah,
so
it was a fast dumpster fire.
I was trying to forget about that.
Never forget. But yeah, and then I'm watching him on versus the Chiefs, and he gets clobbered and hangs onto that football somehow. Like I don't know, but he had a pretty good game. With Ladd there, maybe it just takes one for him to make a big play. So I did put a, YouTube short out, me talking about Quentin Johnson from the waiver show. And I had a lot of people, not like it. And I understand. This game here, outside of that, the Bucks, like Bucky Irving, like I almost made him a sit just because it's scary. Like his back's bugging him, like hard to play running back with a bad back. It's hard to really it's hard to get out of the couch with a bad back, like if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like Phil's had a bad back for a while. I've hurt my back before. It's not like I haven't resorted to only walking, but a lot of people might think I am walking when I'm working out. So I can't make too much fun. Gus Edwards, Kamani Vidal, like he's staying away from running backs.
No running backs here. The most interesting guy to me, like that's not like an obvious play, is like no Disley. Stone Smart looked pretty good in that game. And so now the Chiefs are a good matchup for tight ends, but like, I don't know. Like it's a flyer if you're desperate for tight end, or
is
maybe
Disley
it's
hurt?
like someone just Disley's out, for like 3 weeks. So
okay, yeah.
Stone Smart, kind of interesting to me a little bit, That's probably more of like maybe like a DFS play or something like that, but I don't know. Something to keep an eye on.
Like Jordan, another guy, Sean Tucker, if Bucky doesn't play, maybe he falls in.
Yeah. Trent, that's the first one that I actually am like, if Bucky doesn't play, I think Sean Tucker is a very viable option.
Yeah, because I think they'll use him. The Chargers are tough against the run, though, but just how the Bucks use their running backs.
They use their running,
Yeah,
exactly.
So
they use them so much.
And this could be a game that's good for Rachaad White. You know what I'm saying? Because he catches so many passes and stuff like that. It could be a decent spot for Rachaad White. And Sean Tucker, just a little spell back, gets a couple nice things, has some goal line plays. Mike Evans. What about the Fresno native, Jordan? What are we thinking about McMillan? No? Bad matchup?
I mean, it's not
2 TDs last week.
Yeah. I mean, he also hadn't done anything in a long time, so.
Okay. I'm going Chargers win this one. I want the Bucks.
Chargers.
Chargers almost can clinch a playoff berth if they beat the Bucks, which would mean 94% chance of making it. So key game will be week 16 against the 7th seed Broncos, which they will need to win that one. So what do we got next, Seth?
Yep. So next game we have this is, I believe, the Sunday night game. We have the Green Bay Packers traveling to Seattle to play the Seahawks. Green Bay is favored by 3.5 in Seattle, and the game total is at 46.5. I have a start, and I'll get right into it. So JSN is now the wide receiver 1 on the Seahawks. Now, this is a tough matchup for wide receivers, but I believe the Packers are – I don't know how good they are really. At the beginning of the year, they looked pretty hot. Then it kind of got thrown into a whirlwind. Now I think they're starting to figure out some things, and they're getting better again. And they're also pretty healthy now, at least for their wide receivers. The Seahawks are going to have to throw to win. What I'm seeing here, Sleeper has JSN as the wide receiver 18 on the week. I believe he's going to be a top 10 finisher this week. I can see a touchdown here and at least 70 yards. Probably, I think he's going to hit the 100 mark. So I really like that one this week. It's going to be a really fun Sunday night game.
What are we thinking about DK Metcalf? Is he just kind of banged up? Like, is JSN kind of JSN, like, in the last, 5 weeks, I think it's, wide receiver 5 or something? Like, he's been playing some really good football. Looks, he's kind of turned to that guy
overall,
they thought
Trent, he's a pretty high.
Overall, yeah, you're right. He might be higher. Maybe it was number 5 all season. And you have the jersey, Seth, and you don't even wear it.
I do have the jersey.
That one's tough for me because my last name is Jackson, but he spells his first name different than I spell my last name. So that one's hard for me. He's wide receiver 6 on the season, so really good.
Yeah.
It was a really nice, where you got him in your drafts, and you might have even got him off the waiver wire, honestly. Other guys in this game, do we know if Kenneth Walker is going to play? Is he, Charbonnet kind of vaulted some guys into playoffs last week. Kenneth Walker is missed practice on Wednesday with the calf injury, so we might get another Charbonnet game. This is, you said Sunday Night Football?
Yeah.
Man.
It's day-to-day injury, so it's possible.
Those calf injuries, though, you might go out there and think you're okay, and you hurt it in the game or warm-ups. Like, it's just you just don't really know. Packers clinch a playoff.
Charbonnet did look really good last week.
Yeah, and I think they'll use him even if he does play. Packers clinch playoff spot if they beat Seattle and the Rams tie the 49ers and the Falcons lose or tie against the Raiders. Nearly impossible. So, Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed absolutely crushed people last week. 0 fantasy points on Thursday Night Football. Like, that's the worst thing that could happen to you. Like, at least give me some hope and wait. If you don't play till Sunday, I can be happy. But when you start your Thursday off, just knowing your week's over, it's a rough look. So,
well, I had a buddy who started Jaden Reed over Jordan Addison, so let that sink in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jordan Addison, what is that?
The old 45-point swing or whatever it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Addison has been frustrating. Is he just I guess he's just must start the rest of the year now? Complete boomer bust king.
He had Darnold on his bench too. So
it's like an 80-point swing, maybe 75 or something.
Crazy.
Maybe Watson's the guy. I like Tucker Kraft still in this one. Not super thrilled to play Jordan Love. I don't know if he's just not quite 100% or what his deal is, but what is it? Their coach is I think he's only lost 2 games coaching in December. The Packers kind of get hot this kind of time of year. So maybe they really turn it around right now.
The Seahawks are so middle of the road against against running and passing. I don't really know how this game's going to go. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Probably big Jacobs game. I'm going to say Packers. Yeah. I'm going to say Packers win this one. We all going Packers?
No way. Seahawks are taking this one.
You just talked about how middle of the road they are.
Middle of the road, but they're winning games on a 5-game winning streak.
Okay. All right. Fine. What do we got next, Seth?
Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Denver to play the Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 4.5, and the game total is at 44.5. I have a sit, which I'll get into. This one's going to be, I wasn't too big on this guy at the beginning of the season, but he ended up being somewhat pretty okay, even with having Richardson as his quarterback. Jonathan Taylor's my sit this week. The main reason behind this is because of how good the Broncos D is. Over the course of the season, the Broncos defense has been really good against running backs, but these last 4 games in particular have been pretty crazy. 62 or less rushing yards in those 4 games, and there's been 0 touchdowns. The interesting part is the Broncos have ceded some receiving game to running backs, but I really don't think Taylor will benefit from that because I feel Richardson runs instead of throwing those RB dump down passes. So my sit this week is Jonathan Taylor. I just think he's going to get, 60 or less rushing yards and no touchdowns. That's just what I think is going to happen.
All right. Outside of this one, good matchup for Bo Nix. Actually, Jordan, Jaleel McLaughlin, maybe he's the guy the Broncos give the ball to. Like, you cannot trust that backfield at all. I think his snap percentage was a little bit better last week. He had, they had the bye versus the Broncos. I think he had, where is he at here? His snap percentage, when maybe off the bye, they go to him a little bit more. His snap percentage was 36%, but he had 14 carries versus Cleveland. So, maybe a guy that, gets some carries, but seems like versus the bad teams, it's kind of like Javonte kind of takes over. And then, I don't know, he only had, McLaughlin had a lot more carries. Yeah, versus Cleveland, Javonte only had 4 carries. McLaughlin had 14. So just which Broncos running back is it going to be? But Javonte had 45% of the snaps. So, but if you can gamble on the right running back, it might be okay there. Broncos side, outside of Nix and Cortland Sutton, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then, don't want to play Michael Pittman. Don't want to play Alec.
No.
Yeah,
I don't want to play any Colts.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see.
I'm taking the Broncos.
I'm going Broncos.
Yep, Broncos here.
All right, what we got next, Seth? Monday Night Football. One of the doubleheaders.
No, next game we have. I don't know if this is right. Is this Monday Night Football?
Yeah, we have 2.
Yeah,
we have the
2 Monday
Atlanta
night games.
Falcons. Yeah, one of the Monday night games. We had the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. This game totals at 44.5, and Atlanta is favored by 4.5. Jordan, you have a sleeper.
Yeah, I got Sincere McCormick as my sleeper this week. Antonio Pierce came out today and said that he is the starting running back. He's earned that job. Madison will be active as the backup running back. It's not the best matchup against the Falcons. They're a little bit easier to pass against and run against. But McCormick has looked so good the last couple of weeks. So just really been impressed with what I've seen from him, how he's running the football. He has 12 carries, 64 weeks in week 13, 15 carries for 78 yards in week 14. I think in week 12, he was like 5 carries for 33 yards. So he's gradually increased the amount of carries and the amount of yards he's gotten. And I could see them really just try to run the ball in this matchup. Maybe just kind of force feed him the ball the last few weeks of the season. So he's looked good. Antonio Pierce said he's earned the starting job. Like Sincere McCormick as a sleeper this week.
Yeah, we got a little bit of Zamir White repeat here, right? Like he came back, kind of did. This is what Zamir White kind of did last year. Put up some good numbers, help vault you through fantasy playoffs. Now we get to do it with Sincere McCormick again. I think it's a good play. I had a guy in a league that got him for nothing, absolute peanuts, free last week in a fantasy league. Just a Raider fan that I don't know if any of us were really ready to trust Raider running backs. I put them in my waiver pod, did the article, and I just you just don't know over there. So now that you have the blessing from the coach, I think we feel a little bit better. Jacoby Meyer, outside of Do we know if AOC's playing? Is this Desmond Ritter? Like, you got the Desmond Ritter revenge game potentially if he's the starter.
Ritter for sure.
It's for sure Ritter. Okay, because I
that's
thought,
the other thing. Ritter can't even throw the football. Like, of course they're gonna have to run the ball.
Yeah. So Brock Bowers maybe, Ritter hurts him, but I think Brock with just how he plays. It really messes up. Jacoby Myers is the guy that I thought could really help guys out here for that playoff push. Falcons side, Bijan. Do you really want to play anyone else? When was the last time Kirk Cousins?
I guess Drake London.
Yeah, but the TDs just aren't there. It's been.
I know.
Kirk Cousins' last TD pass. Where was it? You got people. Where are we at here? Looking at my iPad. He has not thrown a TD since week 9 versus Dallas. And he threw 3 TDs in that game. So you guys do have your underdog prop show. His line on Sleeper is 1.5 TD passes. See what it is on Underdog. Maybe you guys can throw in an under Kirk Cousins TD pass or try to break the thing. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Pitts is unplayable. Been absolutely terrible since National Tight End Day. Drake London maybe. Ray McLeod had a good game last week.
Mooney had a great game.
It was Mooney, sorry. Mooney. Did McLeod have a decent game too?
Yeah, he did too.
Okay, but London wasn't there. Yeah, I really only like Bijan on the Falcons side, and you have to play Drake London. So I'm going to say Falcons. Do we think Falcons win this game? I got so many people fired up on X. So it was the head coach of the Vikings, giving Kirk Cousins after the game. And the guy just said, nothing but love for you in this city, Kirk. Everyone loves you, just what, that stuff. And I put on there, no one hates Kurt except RG3 maybe. And I had so many trolls just come after me. His name's Kirk, and I totally was just making fun of the old, was it the Redskins GM when he was there that called him Kurt, and it's the guy's been our starting quarterback for 4 years and you're saying the wrong name. So most people got it. That's why it got so many likes, but a lot of people just, were calling me, very rude things. Give me a follow at X at tffdudes. All right. And remember, check these guys out on Friday. You guys doing the Underdog show this week? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
You guys going in firing it up? Okay. So check them out there. All right. What do we got next, Seth? I can't.
We taking Atlanta? We all taking Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta.
Yeah.
I might hit the under on that. For what
44.5.
No, right. The under on
Kirk.
On Kirk Cousins. Kurt.
Yeah. Bijan might just, feed families this Christmas season, if they
the best trade I made this year, I got rid of Drake London and got Mike Evans, so it's paying off really well.
Yeah, you did that at the right time. All right, what do we actually, before we get into this, I cannot stand behind this pick right here. If you just want to fast forward this for 30 seconds, Seth is going absolutely, I don't know if he didn't take his meds today.
It's a sleeper pick.
You can't do a sleeper pick if the guy is he even playing?
Hey, I don't know.
Okay,
but that's part of the fun, Trent.
Okay, say Jordan just saw it and he can't stand behind it either. So now would be a good time to take a water break, bathroom break, whatever you want to do. Seth, go ahead here, crazy boy.
Okay, so this game is the Washington Commanders are traveling to Louisiana to play the Saints. Washington is currently favored by 7, and the line is 43.5. My sleeper, yes, and this is a Bulldog love pick right here for my hometown Bulldogs, is Jake Haener. Okay, so last week, Derek Carr gets hurt at the end of the game. Jake Haener comes in, hands the ball off. Okay, that's it, and gets sacked. Whatever, who cares? And kneels. Doesn't matter. Okay, but he was serving as the backup quarterback on the active roster. Spencer Rattler, who did start 4 games, in every 4 of those games, they got obliterated by at least 18 points. Spencer Rattler's trash. Give Jake Haener a chance to do something good, okay? And for what it's worth, they're playing the Commanders. Okay, the Commanders aren't terrible, but they do give up a decent amount of receiving yards to receivers. Now, I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Haener to make some plays, but I think this is a game to maybe where he can shine a little bit, okay? I don't know if you need a quarterback, but maybe a super flex, you might want to take a shot here. take a shot with Jake Haener? I don't really know. It's a sleeper.
No,
There's
no,
no
no,
buys
no.
this week. You probably shouldn't be starting him anyways.
No, yeah,
but it's
that's
a
what I'm
sleeper for
saying. Like
fun.
you cannot play a sleeper that might not take a snap, Seth. Like
Yes, I can.
I'm just going to explain to you how football works. There's a lot of times the second string quarterback does not see the field. This isn't Tony Romo where he takes field goals and
So you think they're going to go back to Spencer Rattler, who's lost 4 games?
Okay, do you want to play a quarterback for 1 quarter or a half? Like, no, this is a bizarre play.
Do you think they're going to go back to Spencer Rattler, who's lost 4 games by at least 18 points? No, they're going to try Jake Haener. There's no way they're doing Spencer Rattler.
Seth or Jordan.
No.
What do you think? Do you really think they throw Haener in this? This is up there with like Phil not knowing his Northwest, East and South. Just so you know.
So they're splitting reps in practice. Sounds like it's a pretty much open competition for the job. For what it's worth, Derek Carr's not ruled out of this game. Like he's considered day to day. He's in concussion protocol.
I thought Carr's shoulder. I thought it was a shoulder injury.
No, he is. This is what the exact. Let me see here.
Fractured his left hand.
So Darren Rizzi said Derek Carr is going to be day to day / week to week. He did not practice today, but he won't be going on IR. This one says Derek Carr still has not been ruled out and definitely won't go on IR. So basically, he's in concussion protocol and dealing with hand issues. He's day to day.
Okay.
So
more proof that this is the stupidest. More proof this is the stupidest sleeper pick we've ever had.
I can't wait till he scores 15 points and you just lose your tongue.
I think we've spent too much time on this as it is. What about let's get to
all the good play Alvin Kamara, play all the good Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, B. Rob, Terry McLaurin. Call it good. I'm taking Washington to win this game.
Another crazy one here, Jordan. This is just like a pylon prayer. You just pray this guy finds the pylon. Probably not
Nichols,
Keandre Miller. I'm just finding low rostership guys. Yeah, and the last coach hated him. The intern head coach doesn't mind him, so he got 10 carries last week. Maybe that increases. I don't know. Maybe but so at 26% of the snaps. Like, can we do a buck bet if Jake Haener goes over 26% of the snaps this week? I don't.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Fine. There we go. Right there.
I'll take the over in that. Holy smokes.
Okay.
All right. More than a quarter and I win.
Yeah. I'm going Commanders.
Washington.
Yeah, I'm going Commanders for sure.
He just gave you the
next game.
He just gave you the craziest sleeper of all time, then goes completely opposite team too. Like, I probably should edit
Trent,
that.
I want you to weep at this next thing. Okay, when was the last time the Cowboys were not favored playing this team? Okay, the Cowboys are traveling to Carolina, South Carolina.
They might be. No. The Cowboys are at home.
Okay, well, you need to fix your sheet. The Cowboys are at home playing the Panthers this week, and the Panthers are still favored by 2.5, and the line is at 42.5.
No,
Trent,
I saw this. It might not be accurate here on the line either. Jordan, double check the line. Are the Panthers the favorites?
Man, I don't even have this game written down. What the heck?
This game is in Dallas, so I did mess this up. I do this,
it's in Carolina. It's in Carolina.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at Thielen. That's why. Okay. Adam Thielen. I wasn't wrong. He's playing really good. He's back-to-back double-digit games. I had him on the waiver pod 2 weeks ago saying pick this guy up, but I did not want to play him against the Eagles. He goes out and scores 14.7 fantasy points against the Eagles. Back-to-back double-digit games. 2 weeks ago, he was wide receiver 7. Last week, he was wide receiver 19. I think we get a top 15 wide receiver play out of Adam Thielen this week. Bryce Young's actually thrown the ball around quite a bit and looking a lot better. They even put him in position to win the game last week versus the Eagles. Leggett dropped that ball. So I think Thielen is just really safe here. And I think Thielen's have a good game here. Dallas is not great against the wide receivers. We just saw what Jamar Chase did to them. I know Thielen's not Chase, but he's going to get the targets will be there. The catches will be there. I think it's a good play for Adam, a good spot for Adam Thielen. And then other Panthers, Chuba Hubbard. I had Chuba Hubbard as a sit last week, but Jonathan Brooks went out there and got hurt like in the first quarter. And if you have Chuba Hubbard in Dynasty, you're going to be even like, it looks like Jonathan Brooks is going to be out all next season as well. So I think he re-injured the same thing. I don't mind Xavier Legette as a flyer here either after that big drop last week. I think they go to him, even though the guy, like, did you see that, what he said today? Did anybody see that? He went on Amon-Ra St. Brown's podcast and talked about how he likes eating raccoons. I just read about it.
Yeah, I have it
so
bookmarked. I want to go listen to it.
Yeah, that is something. I've eaten a lot of wild things. A lot of, I do a lot of hunting. I do some hunting. I don't hunt that much. I've never eaten raccoon. So that is something that is, I have not put that in my game bag yet. So Cowboys side, I like Dottle, Lamb, Ferguson. I think I draw the line right there. I'm not willing to take a sleeper play on Cooks or something like that, right? I need to see. It's a good spot statistically for the Cowboys running backs. Panthers defense is kind of tightened up since they played the Chiefs, so they're not giving up points. They're kind of bending but not breaking. But I think it's a good spot for Dottle. Outside of that, any plays, guys? We're talking too long on this.
No, I got Carolina.
I'm going to go Dallas. I'm going to just stay with
Cowboys.
them. Yeah, maybe they can block a punt and recover it this time.
I'll take the dog in that, even though, I'm not really sure. They're kind of dogs, but I don't really feel like it. Next game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals traveling to Tennessee to play the Titans. Currently, the Bengals are favored by 4.5, and the line's at 47.5. No starts and no sits or sleepers in the rest of these games. What do you guys got for this one?
Chase Brown just absolutely on fire. Tony Pollard, I think he's a little banged up, but I think he'll play. Jamar Chase,
Calvin Ridley.
T. Higgins bounce back game.
It's possible, but I also think that Joe Burrow's going to lean on Chase.
Yeah, Burrow did come out and say that he wants to find a way to keep Higgins there and pay him money, though, too. He said that yesterday. So
he's franchise tagged him, so.
Yeah. And then, Burrow's house just got broken into, so maybe he plays a little, fired up this game. Seth, you watch the Simpsons game at all with the Bengals?
No, I didn't watch that.
I watched a little bit of it. It wasn't. It's getting better. It's there's still.
I watched the
glitches
Toy Story one last year, though.
Yeah, my kids don't watch the Simpsons. They thought that was really cool watching that because it's not really like if you watch it, it's just like animated players on the field. It's kind of interesting. But what I will say, since it's behind, like if you see Homer Simpson on the field, he's going to make a play. Like they have the key figures come out and make a play. Like Homer had a pick and little Ralphie had a pick. Other guys in this game, Calvin Ridley. Maybe Nick Westbrook-Akeen is done, but wouldn't shock me if he caught a TD in this game either, though, with how the Bengals are on defense. Bengals are kind of a team that kind of like picking on that defense. So
defense
use your gut on those sleepers, see what you want to do. I had Will Levis as a sleeper on last week's sleeper episode I do on YouTube on Saturdays, and he did not play well against the Jaguars, to say the least. I'm saying Bengals win this game. Anything else we want to say here?
Bengals.
Chase Brown, the perfect example of like these running backs by committee, like what happens when one gets hurt. I'm not saying Zach Moss would be this good because I don't think he would be, but I think he was averaging 10 fantasy points per game, and now he's up to 19, so he's just under doubled like what he was doing. So it's Chase Brown is one of those guys. What, Seth?
Go ahead.
No,
I
Chase
will say,
Brown,
though.
Go, Seth.
I will say I do think Chase Brown probably fits this offense a little bit better, but Zach Moss did have an impressive showing when Taylor was hurt / not playing last year.
Yeah. So this one with Chase Brown, like he's a nice guy. He's one of those guys, Jordan, that like if you got him in Underdog Best Ball, you're really happy right now.
Yep.
And he's a guy you got late. What do we got next here?
Next game, we have the New England Patriots traveling to the West Coast to play the Arizona Cardinals. The Zona is favored by 5.5, and the line is at 46.5.
Good Trey McBride spot. I'm always kind of a fan of playing Drake May, Jordan. Like I like how he plays. It's a lot of risk to put there. But
So Trent,
Well,
Drake
yeah.
May or Cooper Rush in a Dynasty Superflex?
I think I would go Drake May. I just think there's more upside. The guy runs the ball really well.
Yeah.
He's throwing to his the guys he's throwing to maybe aren't the best exactly, but I think when this is all said and done, I think Drake May might be the best quarterback in this class. For what he has right
Interesting.
now, how he's come on, he looks really good. And this just might be a really good rookie QB class, but I've watched a little bit of Drake May, and when I watch him, I'm like, this guy makes really good plays. And he has no wide receivers, right? So they just got to get him a little more weapons. But
Yeah.
I would play Drake May. I like Drake May a lot. Even though Cardinals defense, has been kind of hit or miss. They've been tough. They absolutely hurt you bad last week, though. So I'm going to say... And
yeah, but that was more against the running backs. That was more Charbonnet burned him.
So maybe Ramondre goes off here too?
Yeah, I think Ramondre's in a good spot.
I always like Hunter Henry if you need some tight end help. I don't know if Njoku's playing this week. He's kind of banged up maybe day to day. So Hunter Henry there. Good James Conner spot here. If you have James Conner, you can fire him up here versus the Patriots. Weak against the run. And then Trey McBride, of course. Marvin Harrison Jr. What are we at with, he's been frustrating. I'm going to say probably, I'm going to say Cardinals win this one. I think I've picked Cardinals every single week.
Cardinals.
What we got next, Seth?
Next game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Ohio to play the Cleveland Browns. KC is favored by 4.5, and our line is 45.5. Pacheco's all the way back probably this week.
Yeah, Pacheco's back. And then
Worthy seems like he's getting more work.
They just got to connect on some of those throws.
The Chiefs are squeaking out wins, man. Barely.
Yeah, they do. Brown side, I like Jerry Jeudy. And I think that's about where I draw the line.
Well, man, I'm just looking up. You said Njoku may not play. Njoku has one of the Chiefs are one of the best matchups for tight ends. So if Njoku doesn't play,
flyer on the backup.
Jordan Akins would be the backup tight end. So don't hate that,
spot.
to be honest.
Yeah. Not a good Nick Chubb situation. Jameis Winston, though, with even do we have no Cedric Tillman either? Is he still out? If Cedric's out,
he might play. It says might play.
Yeah, but Elijah Moore's been pretty decent too, though.
Yeah. So I think if Cedric Tillman plays, though, between him and Jeudy, this could be I really want to see a team come out there, and maybe Jameis is the guy who does it, that just pushes the Chiefs to have to score points. You know what I'm saying? Make them have to.
Yeah.
And that secondary's kind of beat up. But Jameis is also when they played, the last time we saw Jameis Winston, the Broncos scored, were a top scoring fantasy defense, and then Jameis was a top scoring fantasy player. It was one of those, the 3 picks, the 2 pick sixes, and the, TD passes. So this could be an interesting game where Jameis goes out there and really, pushes it, and we see what happens. This Chiefs secondary's beat up, so I like Jeudy and I like Eli Moore, and if Cedric Tillman plays, if you need him. But outside of that, Chiefs guys besides Hopkins and Pacheco, Kelsey, if you have him, maybe we get another Noah Gray game. But I'm going to go Chiefs win this one. It's in Cleveland.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs here, as much as I don't like it. They'll probably squeak in a kick at the very end. Next game, we have
doink,
another...
the doink.
Yeah, the doink. The barely win it Chiefs special. We have the second Monday night game, or the first. I don't know which one's first. But we have a rivalry game for it with the Bears traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Minnesota, coming off a complete burner game last week, is favored by 7, and the line is at 44.5.
Good Aaron Jones matchup. At this point, you have to play Addison if you have him. I think you just have to do it. Jefferson, Sam Darnold, Bears side.
Swift and Moore.
I don't know.
Caleb looked bad last week. Like he had put a couple games together where he looked really good. This secondary on the Vikings isn't great. I don't think you can trust Caleb Williams at this time of the season. But do you see Caleb Williams is on pace to like break the all-time Browns rookie passing record by quite a bit, just to show you, the history of how bad Bears rookie quarterbacks have been. So he's very close to breaking those records in passing yards. So yeah, outside of DJ Moore and DeAndre, I'm staying away on the Bears side. I'm going to say Vikings win this game. Vikings really need this. Vikings take the
Minnesota.
dub. Yep. Minnesota.
I'm taking Vikings here.
All right. And this is the one where, go Seth.
Game 14 of the week, we have the Baltimore Ravens traveling to New York to play the Giants. I think Tommy DeVito's back at starting quarterback. This line's at 43.5, and Baltimore is favored by a staggering 14.5. This is going to be a bloodbath.
So it's finally here, Jordan. We talk about it every year. We didn't have it next week because they're on bye. It's to Hembry. Derrick Henry playing the Giants. They get absolutely gashed by running backs.
My only concern, Trent, is that they blow him out and they don't run Derrick Henry.
And they rest him. You're getting a TD.
Hill goes off.
Yeah, you're getting a TD out of him then. Well, if you think that, Jordan, then there's your other backup right there, Justice Hill.
That's who I have on my roster. It's honestly who I'm leaning towards playing if Guerendo's out.
The 14.5, like this is a smash spot for the Ravens running backs. Lamar Jackson
100-yard plus alt line.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson today said that he likes sweet smelling girls' colognes. That is called perfume. That is not called cologne. So anyone that saw that and is thinking about doing that, no, that is a cologne. That is not a cologne. That is a perfume. Giant side, Neighbors, Jordan, it's a really good spot for DeVito and Neighbors. Do we trust DeVito? Not really. I think Neighbors gets a lot of catches though, potentially here. So it just depends if DeVito can get him the ball. But I like Henry. I like Neighbors. And
for what it's worth, I said Derrick Henry 100-yard alt. His line on Underdog is 102.5. So I will not be hitting that.
What about TDs? They got a TD, Seth, or no? No TD play?
Yeah, it's 0.68 multiplier.
It's not that great.
For higher. If you want to do 1.5, it's only at 1.2. Yeah. So his 1.29 is. They're saying he's going to score 2 touchdowns, Trent.
Yeah, that's a fodder play though. If you do the 0.6, right? You just throw that in there as a little tiny multiplier.
You throw it in there if you're doing a big play. I don't think you're doing a small play. Do it, but
so I'm going Ravens win this one.
Yep.
Outside of Henry, I don't know if I'm super excited for Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews or Isaiah. I don't know if we're gonna need those Ravens pass catchers.
I think you just play Zay Flowers because he should have 4 catches, 80 yards, probably.
Yeah. Okay, what do we got next, Seth?
We have a really fun game. This will be a great game. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling across the state to play the Philadelphia Eagles. This line is at 42.5, and Philadelphia is favored by 5.5.
This is going to just be a very, like you said, fun, Seth. I think the proper word would be ugly. I think this is going to be an ugly game where it's just lots of running, unless the Eagles can score some points on the Steelers. Because the Steelers team, when was the last fun Steelers game we had? The snow game?
The Russ game where he went off?
That was Buffalo. Who was that?
The Browns. No, that wasn't the Browns. That was the...
I'm getting my Browns games mixed up because they played each other twice within 3 weeks. So I think it was the Browns.
Yeah.
It was the Browns.
It was the first time they played the Browns. Yeah.
I'm just stuck in the snow game. So no George Pickens, it looks like, though, which is unfortunate.
No. I like Jaylen Warren in this spot.
Okay.
I think he could get some dump offs. I like his receiving. I can look at his receiving yards, but I like him as a pass catcher. He got more targets, 5 targets without Pickens last week. In theory, they might have trouble running the ball here with Najee, so I kind of like Jaylen Warren a little bit in this spot.
Yeah, I think Najee still falls into the end zone, but I don't I think it is a good Warren spot. I agree, and I'm kind of bummed because I had that. Remember, I talked about last week how I had Bucky Irving and Najee Harris and Bijan and David Montgomery, and I felt like my running backs were like untouchable. Well, since last week's pod, I have lost George Pickens and I have lost Bucky Irving potentially. So there's, your number 1 seed that doesn't have a bye. Bye week would be great in there. Saquon, AJ Brown has not had double-digit targets. Let's play a little game here. When was the last time AJ Brown had double-digit targets?
Been a while.
I don't know.
Jordan,
I have to
what
look.
do you think?
I don't know.
I believe
Week 12, 11?
Week 1.
No,
He's not getting fed. That's what
Well, have you seen all that drama on there?
He had 10 targets week 1. He has not surpassed 9 targets since week 6. His third highest was week 11. He had 8 targets. So he has only had double-digit targets in week 1. So, yeah. So, Devonta Smith, I don't know. Like, maybe you have to. You've held on to him this long and he hasn't played. I think if without Pickens, here's who I like. If you need tight end help, Pat Freiermuth. I think that's a guy that could do good there. I don't like, is it Calvin Austin? Is that the other wide receiver there?
Calvin Austin.
I really only like him if Pickens is there. I don't know if I like him by himself. So I think Freiermuth.
I got Philadelphia.
Is it in Philly? Is that what we said, Seth?
Yeah, it's in Philly.
Yeah. Mike Williams, Trent?
I wish it was Mike Williams, but I think Van Jefferson might be a little bit more the guy there. But maybe. I'm going to go Steelers.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles.
Okay. All right, last one here.
Last game, we have the New York Jets traveling down the coast to Florida to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game line is at 40.5, and the Jets are favored by 3.5.
Breece Hall, huge letdown.
He's probably not going to play.
Yeah, probably not going to play, but they said they aren't shutting him down for the season. So you have Isaiah Day. Told tons of people on my start sits on X, start Isaiah Day or start Braylon Allen. He got, I think double-digit fantasy points, 10, but like Isaiah Davis got the rushing touchdown. So it's just like they have 2 really good rookie running backs, it looks like. Jacksonville's played kind of tough the last 2 weeks on defense. So I don't even know if I really like playing anybody versus them. Anyone you want to play on the Jets outside of Davis and like Devontae? The targets are there.
Garrett Wilson. Those 2.
That's kind of it.
You weren't able to get Isaiah Davis, Jordan? Or you didn't want to?
He was already picked up.
All right. Jaguars side, do we get Trevor Lawrence back or is he shut down for the season?
And he's on IR. He's probably done.
Yeah, you're right. So. You got put on IR. Tank Bigsby has he's the guy there, I guess, at least at the moment.
Him and ETN are splitting snaps. It's like 50-50 snaps. So
it's just not fun.
I like Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas Jr. is your only play. Yep.
Not Parker. All right. I don't really know who I want to pick here. I have picked the Jets way too much this year, and it's been like this.
I'm going to go Jaguars just for the heck of it.
I think it's a safe spot to go Jaguars, Jordan. It's a really good spot to take Jags. I'm going to go Jets, but I think this is a good spot, and I don't blame you for doing that. So, guys, that is all our picks. We had our starts. We had our sits, guys. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of the show. These guys, Seth and Jordan, will be back for their Underdog show. I will have a sleeper episode sometime this weekend, and I'll be back for the waiver show. It's going to be Monday or Tuesday, with Christmas coming around, daughter's birthday, not sure when I'm going to get to this stuff. I will get to it before it's too late. It'll be there by Tuesday. I'll have stuff to you for sure. Guys, remember, give us a like, give us a sub. Really helps us out. Don't be rude. Share the dudes. Appreciate all you guys for listening, and you guys have a great rest of your day. See you next time, and as always, take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.